I'm just going to mute you, Susan. I was playing music. Oh, and there's Lauren coming in too. So let me just put the music back on and see if you can hear it, and you'll know if your sound is on. I'm just going to mute you, Susan. I was playing music. Oh, and there's Lauren coming in too. Okay. Okay. Okay, great. You're in. Okay, so I am going to just do one or two little maneuvers here. We're good. Okay, and there's sound on right now, just so you could check it. I'm going to turn that off, but we're going to get back to that music in a little while. All right, welcome everybody. My name's Laura, and you're in Somatic Inquiry. And today we're going to do spirals, waves, and flow. And we'll use breath and sound. It could be micro movement, it could be macro movement. Really take this in whatever way is going to be most nourishing for your body and your system right now. I'm going to start seated up on a physio ball and just shut a window. There's a lot of construction happening in my neighborhood right now. So hopefully my ear pods don't pick it up. All right, so we'll start seated, just taking a couple of minutes to come into our breath, into sensation, inviting our awareness into our embodied experience. So we're allowing all the senses to come online. It might be the sense of touch, the sense of feeling, the kinesthetic sense of movement, or proprioception, interoception, sense of what's going on with our organs or our breath. Also, sounds around us can come in. Eyes, if you're open, then you can let in the visual field, but maybe it's going to be easier to come into your sensation of your body with your eyes closed. So any way that feels best for you. And just taking a minute to receive yourself in whatever is happening for you right now, in whatever state you've arrived in. And I just want to set this intention for myself, and you might want to set a slightly different intention. But my intention for myself right now is, can I be in harmony with my own body, where I am not objectifying myself, where I am in resonance with being in my own body, with being with myself? And can I be gentle and kind with myself? One of my friends says, if you can't be loving to yourself, then at least be civil. So treating yourself as kindly as possible in this moment. And as you're in there, noticing the breath wave, the growing and shrinking with the breath, maybe happening on a very micro level, maybe a very big level. I can feel that my nervous system is a little bit amped up right now, a little bit excited. So letting yourself come into wherever you are with your awareness. And we're going to add a breath sound to this. And my earbuds are going to take out the sound probably, but it's a soft hiss called the theta breath. So it's a soft, probably you can't hear it, but a soft hiss, like steam being gently released from a radiator. So really easy, really gentle. And if it feels like it's too much, if it's activating, then let it go. And anytime you want to, you can take resting breaths. So just breathe normally. If you feel like, oh no, I can't do this, there isn't really a right or wrong. It's just soft hiss exhale. So let's just take that for a couple of minutes, a couple of breaths. And we're not trying to over effort our bodies. So if it feels like you're kind of coming to the end of your exhale, just inhale again. We're trying to come into like the exact right temperature, the exact perfect Three Little Bears scenario for our own bodies. This is just right. How do we find just right? And for me, when I start to go into theta, like I start to really become aware of that, the theta breath, the backspace, and movement starts to arrive on a micro level within my body. So if anything starts to arise, allow it in. We've spent our lives learning how to be still. Now we're going to learn how to let the body, or tune into allowing the body to move, to be fluid. So you might think tuning into the fact that you are a body of water. And letting the theta breath kind of offload any extra steam that's built up inside there. So it might be emotional steam, it might be anxiety steam, it might be any kind of steam. And we're just extending the exhale. So we're coming into a more parasympathetic rest and digest, soothe and settle place where our body can start to process things. Allowing the breath wave to play out, filling you up and then releasing out really easily, really gently. And let's actually start to play with some ripples and waves in our body. And they can be happening anywhere. It could be in your arms, could be in your spine, could be just head, tail connection, but just inviting in this idea of fluidity, this idea of ongoing flow that sort of moves through your body, maybe from the center to the edge, maybe from the edge back to center, but inviting in play, a sense of playfulness with rippling, waving, and maybe allowing some small little spirals to engage in that movement. And when we come into a somatic inquiry, it's nice to go in without knowing what's going to happen or without a plan of how it's going to be, or without, like, the inquiry fact is that we're entering into the I don't know. We're entering into the flow. We're inviting in whatever arises. Allowing our own fluid bodies to express in whatever way feels good. And it could be very minimal. Sometimes it's like, but I don't want to move. Then don't move. It's fine. You're moving even if you're not moving. Our breath is moving, our blood flow is moving, our lymphatic flow is moving. So it's up to you if the movement feels good to make it bigger or not. And to talk a little bit more about these ideas of flow, like, we consider air is considered a fluid because it flows, right? It's a non-linear pathway. So even as we breathe, the way the air is coming into our lungs and moving in and through our body is fluid. It's a flow. So we can tune into the flow of our breath, but we can also tune into the fluids in our body, the blood, the lymph, the cerebrospinal fluid, just the sweat, the wetness of our being human. So allowing yourself to play with that. And one of the images that I really like is like seaweed and seagrasses. Allowing your body to be moved as if you are in the sea, as if you are in the ocean, or as if you are the ocean, and allowing movement to ripple up from the bottom or to come from the top down, but just inviting it in. And it's really easy for me. I'm on this physio ball. And actually, I was thinking of starting today standing, because standing, you can really ripple and wave. And it doesn't mean you need to stand. You can be in whatever position, because you can even sort of ripple and wave on the ground. But I'm just going to start playing with allowing a wave to move up my body from my feet to my head. And a very non-linear wave, right? The wave, if we think of a wave in the ocean, the way that all the water's moving in that wave, it's not like doing the wave or the wave in a stadium. It's got really three-dimensional mobility. So inviting in that idea of this three-dimensional support for your fluid system and letting yourself move in any way that feels good with that, bringing in ripples, waves, and spirals. Inviting in your own curiosity. What would happen if I moved like this? What would happen if I moved like that? How does it feel for me to try this? Or just even, what is going on? What am I noticing? What am I noticing in sensation? You could also imagine that you've come into this body of water for the first time and you're not sure what it can do. So, what are the possibilities of movement? If we didn't have the culture sitting on our shoulders, if we didn't have our family patterning in our DNA and on our shoulders, how would we move? If we didn't know what was possible, if we didn't have limitations, if we only had curiosity, how would we move? How would we learn to move? So, inviting in that brand new idea of, oh, I just landed here in this body. And we can start to add another breath, which is kind of like you're allowing your mouth and your lungs and your nose to be like, hush, like the air in like a small storm, or air coming in with a wave into a cave by the edge of the ocean, right? So it's like there's this fluidity, there's this mobility, but inviting in that airflow quality into your movement or into your stillness, just inviting in the idea. Could even be like a tree in the wind or some grasses on the plains, right? As the wind moves through. But bringing in that deeper breathing and the participation of your face. So the cave of your mouth, the the movement of your tongue, your cheeks, your face, and inviting your expression of who you are as you, your personality, to kind of soften and melt and crack away and just be in this experience of being without the story of this is who I am, this is what I like, this is how I do my things, and letting that all go and just being in the experience of being. So in sort of this flow of aliveness, open to noticing anything that's going on, but staying present with your body as that happens. So staying present with your own sensation. It might even be like, oh, someone's really crashing around in there and that's making me feel tense. Or someone's crashing around in there. What's going on? That's curious. So whatever is happening, we don't need to shut it out. It's here, it's happening. It's just part of the experience. Sometimes like the cat or the pet gets involved. So I'm going to add music and let us just continue to play with that. And this is called Ambient Fields. It is a friend of mine called Jeff Gersh, who makes a lot of really cool music, mostly with guitars and effects. But I think all of this was made in Iceland. And Iceland is a very sort of spacious land. So invite in the spaciousness of the music into your movement. I'm going to take it down to the floor. Still playing with spirals and waves, but I'm going to let my legs get a little bit more into the game. This music also, in my imagination, has kind of an outer space feel to it. So you could also imagine that you are suspended in the music, like totally free to move in any way. And if you feel resistance to anything, allow yourself to fully experience that resistance. Allow the resistance to be there, or maybe even engage with it with some pushing or pulling, right? Allowing your body to experience what your experience is. How would you express that? And if you're seeking comfort, you might want to move towards movement that's really familiar. But if you're seeking change, novel movement might get you there faster. So if you're looking for new experience and you find yourself in a movement pattern that's familiar, see if you can shift it, right? The change and the shift happens when you go somewhere different. And it might mean you just slow down the pattern that you're in, or you speed it up, or you go to a totally different space. Allowing the system of your body, your nervous system, the fluids, even the flow of your thoughts to have some free flow. And free flow is kind of like the childlike play stuff, like, oh, it's just non adulted. And if we want some more adulted flow, it's more bound, it's more contained. So allowing the free flow in, like a child playing, or a bunch of kids running around a playground, or coming to more contained flow, where it's specific and stoppable, but more mature. So something that we talk a lot about in dance and in movement analysis is where movement initiates and how it follows through. You can start to play with allowing something to initiate in one place and then move through to another place. And feeling that flow of beginning to the middle to the end, and then even imagining that the movement trails beyond your body so that there's an energetic flow that is much bigger than you, that as you move within it, you're just allowing these little tendrils to radiate outwards, or even beams of light. And if you find your mind wandering, come back into what you feel. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the air on your skin. And one more thing to say here. When we have pain in our bodies or when we have an injury, it's really easy to focus directly on that area and just go, boom, it's right there. So if that's happening, allow yourself to take that focus and feel that sensation, but see if you can also find a place that feels good. And let your awareness go into the good feeling place also. So it's going maybe back and forth between, oh, here's the pain area, and now here's the really light, free, easy area. Even letting the wave ripple from one place to another. And imagining that your nervous system is suspended inside your whole body, which it is. There's your brain going down your spinal cord, out to your arms, out to your legs, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomic nervous system down the middle. Imagining that your body is holding your nervous system lovingly so that it's all your nerves in there are suspended so kindly and gently, wrapped around with fascia, even fascia moving through them, holding their structure, so that the nervous system itself can be soft and easy. And who's reading your experience of being? Your nervous system, right? Nervous system, consciousness are interwoven. Even to have an out-of-body experience, we need a body. And you may find yourself in your experience floating around in there with whatever's going on. Ask yourself, can I go deeper into this? Is it possible to dive a little deeper in? Always knowing that it's safe to come back to the surface or to stop moving or to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, whatever you need to do. But as you're in your experience, the question of, can I take this just a little deeper? And if you have managed to get a little deeper, ask the question again. Can I go a little deeper? And allow the sensation in your body to give you the answer. Imagining that the systems of your body are in healthy conversation with each other, like your heartbeat, your blood flow, your nerves, your hormones. Everyone's invited to the table. Everyone together working for your health. And even the parts of you that maybe are the ones that you like to put in the corner, let them in. They can be in the experience too. They probably are anyway. Allowing the subconscious levels of your existence and the conscious levels of your existence to be working together in harmony. And part of it is by just letting your body start to let go of some of the armoring that may have been helped you cope with being a person on the planet, right? We learn how to hold our bodies and how to be through the way that we were raised, through the environment that we're in, through the feedback we're given about being, through the advertising we see, through everything. So if we let some of that detritus, the stuff that isn't serving us, kind of break off and melt away, how do we feel? What happens then? I'm going to shift to a different album. Something maybe a little more gentle. Some of that was a little nervy. And imagining that as you're in this embodied experience, that you're just creating more spaciousness for your existence. You're just, by engaging with your own body, with your own awareness, you're giving yourself a little bit more room. And that this fluid body is always a resource to tune into the breath with sound, movement. Wave movement, spiral movement is always going to be happy. Well, is usually going to be happy, healthy movement for your tissues, right? Gentle waves, gentle spirals. Doesn't have to be crashing waves or the most intense yogic twist. Just small whirlpools and eddies moving through your body. Lovingly. And the big thing for me with this work is that when I'm spending a lot of time feeling into my body, I then am aware when tension comes up. I go, oh, that has made me a little nervous, or oh, that's what I'm sensing or noticing, or my senses are heightened, the hairs on my neck are going up, maybe I need to pay attention, right? It gives me more access to be able to live in the world in a way that's in harmony with myself, with the energy of the people around me and the planet, right? So I can go, oh, this is what's going on. I can notice it and make choices in accord with what's happening. I can say no. Ooh, that doesn't feel good. I'm going to have to say no to that. Or I can go, oh, that feels really good. That feels really nourishing. Maybe I need that. We live in a society that really wants us to drive, but not so much to take care of ourselves, right? So giving yourself that time to know, oh, I need to come in right now. I need to come into myself. I need to call the kids home. I need to sit around the table with me and all my selves, nourishing myself with breath, with sound, with movement. with spirals, with waves. With flow, right? So I can find my breath flow. I can find the flow of life, and I can allow my flow of thoughts. Or I can just notice when I start to tense up, when I start to grip and get graspy, oh, maybe I can let go of some of that. What's making me feel nervous? Maybe I can let go of some of that. Or I can choose to go in knowing I'm a little bit nervous. Like, it's also good to move into our challenges and face them. But to have the wisdom to know, my body says yes, I should move forward, or my body says no, and I really need to listen to that and back up. Not that we just want to be squishy marshmallows, but we want to be able to go, oh, I can feel that this feels wrong for me. I can feel that this relationship, I've outgrown it. I can feel that this job, I've outgrown it, or whatever. This movement system isn't working for me right now. Maybe I need something different. And every day is a different day in our body. And when we come into these type of flows, like you may come in one day and do the exact same flow the next day, and you'll feel totally different. Different things will happen. Take the music off and just give us a couple of minutes to be in the silence of your own experience. And I'm actually going to try and be silent too. So just having a little bit of time to let your body process everything that might have bubbled up, either in stillness or in motion. And if you need to blink out, feel free to do that. I'll stay on and come back and talk with you in a few minutes.